Hey everyone, welcome back to my DevOps Home Lab series. This is a special bonus episode you'll want to save and maybe even rewatch. If you found these hands on tutorials helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps our DevOps community grow. When I started working with Linux, I felt completely lost when I saw something like /etc /home /bin directories. Everything comes under ls slash. So many weird folder names. I had no idea where my files were going. But here's the thing. Once you know what's in each folder, Linux stops being scary and start feeling like your home playground. You might have a question in your mind, why do we need to know this file system and the folder structure? Because navigating in Linux is all about knowing what lives where. If you know where config files, logs, and programs are, you will fix problems faster and also avoid major mistakes. What are we going to learn in this video? We are going to talk about most important Linux folders. For example, /home, /bin, /etc, /var, and more. So you'll always know where to look and where not to touch. How are we going to do this? Step by step with practical examples that you can follow in your own virtual machine server, which we created in our previous episodes. No overwhelming theory, just the real basics you'll use every day as a DevOps engineer. Let's talk about Linux file system basics. Okay, imagine Linux is like one big tree that will start at root. Okay, that will start at root and it is defined by slash. This is like the root of the Linux. Every file, folder, programs comes from this root folder. Okay, whatever you will see in Linux in our future episodes, everything will start from /root folder. Let's try to break down the folders you'll see the most and why they matter. Okay, so first is like /home folder. Okay, this is your personal space. Okay, each user, for example Arbaz, will have his own personal space where he can create files, folders, and download whatever he likes. Okay, /home /arbaz is my personal space. So if another user is like, let's say, using, it would be /home /learn with DevOps engineer. Okay, he has his own space. Okay, we can create multiple users so everyone will have their own space. This is like a very basic and simple understanding that I can explain. /home /username, that's it. /root, this is like the super user. We call in Linux super user. He will have all privileges, he can do anything. Also you can say him as admin. Okay, he is like an administrator. This is like super user /root, like kind of a root user, we'll try to say, and admin. Next, slash etc means all config files live here. If you want to change how a service works, check slash etc. Okay, followed by slash bin command. Slash bin is nothing but core Linux commands and programs are sitting here. Okay, for example, ls, cp, move, etc. There are like so many commands. You can create your own commands as well. That also we'll try to look into in the future videos. Then followed by slash user, more user programs. Okay, more user programs and documentation. It is like program files in Windows. Okay, then we have slash var, data that changes a lot. Data that changes a lot, like for example, log files and caches. If your server is having issues, then you will go to slash var slash log. Okay, this is the place where you are going to check if your server is having any kind of issues. Followed by we have slash temporary folder, tmp, temporary stuff. Here we are going to store temporary, as the name suggests, temporary files, temporary downloads that gets wiped out on every reboot. Okay, so be careful with this folder always. Then followed by s bin. These are like super user binaries. S bin is nothing but super user binaries, admin tools for advanced users. Okay, these are kind of important folders that anyone needs to know. There are like other folders as well, but for now let's keep it simple so that it will be easy for you to grab all the stuff which we are talking about. Now let's get hands on and see it in live. Now let's look at the demo. I did SSH to my DevOps Lab 1 server. So here I'm going to run some simple commands, ls space slash, and I will try to list. So if you see, we are seeing multiple directories: bin, etc, home, temp, var, user. There are other directories as well. You can explore if you are interested. But for our use case, I will try to show you what we have in slash home directory, ls slash home. Here you see there are like two users, Arbaz and DevOps user, followed by slash etc. Press enter. So you can see all our configurations. For example, you can see cron service, you will see ssh, you will see nginx. I mean, you will see a lot of stuff in the slash etc. If there is any problem with your service, just go to slash etc followed by the service name. That's it. Very simple. Then let's look at the bin folder. So this is our bin folder where you'll have a lot of commands. For example, who am I, who, you'll see move command, copy command, see move command, vim is here. It's like our programs and commands. So they live here in bin folder. Now let's clear the screen. Let's look at var log file. ls slash var slash log. Press enter. So I can see some log files here. Followed by, let's look at the present working directory. I'm in Arbaz directory. Now let's navigate to temp folder. Okay. If you see, pwd is nothing but present working directory. Press enter slash temp. I'm in my /temp directory. Now let's try to create a file using touch command. Touch test file. Press enter. Let's try to list that particular file. You should see test file has been created. If you ever get permission denied, you are probably trying to write somewhere only admins should touch. Always stick to your home folder. If you have any kind of permission issue in your organization, let's say if you are working somewhere, then try to ask for permissions. Don't try to hack your ways around. Try to always, follow the right approach and try to follow the process. Let's talk about common mistakes and real DevOps tips. Don't save your projects in /bin or /root because you could break things. System configurations are almost always in /etc. So if you are troubleshooting any configuration, you need to start here. Logs live in /var/log. The first place to check when something is not working is logs. This is where you will start your troubleshooting. I created so many videos where I start with logs. So try to watch my videos if you are not familiar what I'm talking about. It is in my production playlist. So practical challenge. Practical challenge and interview tips. Find out where your shell lives by running which bash. Okay. Also try to look for your host name in cat /etc/hostname. Let me know in the comments if you found that or not. Majority of the people will try to ask what is /etc/var and /home are for. You might get this kind of questions in your interview. Now you will have a confident answer. Congratulations, you are now way ahead of most Linux beginners. If you learned something new, tell me your favorite folder or command in the comments. And if you get lost later in the series, come back to this video. It's your map. In the main series, we are moving on to networking, servers, and security. So don't miss out. Hit subscribe, like, and see you in the next video.